This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand, Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with audiences, and sell anything from products to content to time. All in one place, all on your terms. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. First video channel, I don't know, but welcome back either way. I'm very glad to have you here. And today we are looking at some trans memes, the positive, the relatable ones, the not transphobic ones. Are you ready? Let's just get on with it. Roommate's getting top surgery and they put a tracking chip on him, and now I'm getting updates like he's pizza. Admitted preparing for surgery, in recovery. I kind of love this. From admitted to being prepped for surgery was only 6 minutes. I feel like when a loved one is in surgery, it's a very, very nerve-wracking time, and all you want is that to know that they're in recovery and they're doing fine. This is quite cute. I like it. But yes, I can see, I'd say more like parcel in transit rather than pizza, because the pizza ones I've seen are like little pizza slices and then the slices build, and I don't really think there's a pleasant surgery version of that. But this is very cool. Are you a man or a woman? My dad is a man and my mum is a woman, so I'm mixed. What? That is one way to put it. Yeah. Imagine, what's your gender? Well, I got a bit of boy from dad and girl from mum, so I'm a mix of the two. It's the new way to come out as non-binary. We've got to learn to live together. Girl, tell that to the woman who harasses trans people online daily. Oh yeah. Keira Knightley's very disappointing and very awkward laugh when asked if she knew of the controversy surrounding J.K. Rowling and her transphobia, because she's accepted the role of Dolores Umbridge, which now feels quite ironic, in the new audio book thing.
I saw your voicing Professor Umbridge in the new Harry Potter audiobooks. I was wondering, are you aware that some fans are calling for a boycott, given J.K. Rowling's ongoing campaign against trans people?
I was not aware of that, no. I'm very sorry. I think we're all living in a period of time right now. We're all going to have to figure out how to live together, aren't we? And we've all got very different opinions. So I hope that we can all find respect.
Yes, not impressed. But Keira Knightley, prejudice. It's so hard to know where it comes from. It's so hard to know if she's sat there agreeing with J.K. Rowling and not wanting to say it, understanding the consequences of being that transphobic publicly, or she doesn't necessarily agree, but she also feels like she'll get shit for being trans supportive, so she's trying to stay neutral, or she genuinely is neutral. Or the least likely option, in my opinion, she genuinely didn't know what was going on and had a very awkward reaction. But you would think if you're involved in any kind of Harry Potter project, somebody somewhere would have made you aware of what was going on. And the way she approached it is not how you deal with it. What a miserable response. We're all going to have to live together. Yes, that's what trans people are trying to do. We can't, because bigots like JK are influencing legislative changes across the globe that result in our direct erasure. Just put money behind it. Please choose your gender, male, female, non-binary. Item cannot be purchased if non-binary. What? Excuse me, why are they trying to buy? I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to buy it if you're non-binary. I don't get this. What is going on? I mean, at least non-binary was an option so that they could then choose to discriminate against you. The creator of Annoying Orange is a trans woman? Really? Example 8,000 of trans women being responsible for pop culture. Hold on, let me Google this. Who created, what was it called? Annoying Orange. Yes, that seems to be correct. Wow. I used to hate that thing, but I appreciate how much it permeated culture. I feel like often when you look back at things that have been like big cultural moments or are genre defining things, blah, 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 painters in history, classic novelists, all of this stuff, there's a really good sprinkling of them who were probably gay or trans or LGBT plus in some way. Just saying. Pedro Pascal was spotted at the No Kings protest in Los Angeles. No kings, only queens. Oh, is that divine? I think that is divine looking distastefully upon Trump. And we all know Pedro Pascal is a beautiful trans ally. I made an entire video about his trans allyship. Very cool guy. They, them, off, job, on. Oh no. Oh, I mean, I did say they were relatable as well as positive. They're not always both. The Virgin Islands has become the first US territory to recognize trans people. A new executive order allows for trans and intersex people to request a change of gender marker on ID, provided that it is accompanied by a statement from a licensed healthcare provider or judicial order. Once approved, the revised documents will use the term gender instead of sex. I mean, there's a step forward, right? Also, that flag looks so fake that no, we don't do this. Just do a little flag. It doesn't need to be a fake flag. It's just still so bizarre to me that you like request this change and then a licensed healthcare provider or judicial order has to be given in order for it to happen. I get it from the perspective of like identity fraud and trying to make sure that people aren't trying to change things about their identity, like their name or whatever, to evade certain things. But when it comes to like your gender, people are not doing that. And it's just really weird. Like in the UK, to change your birth certificate, you have to apply for something called a gender recognition certificate. And that's basically where you need to compile years worth of evidence with multiple letters from specialists. And you have to do, I believe, a statutory declaration as well, which is you have to pay a solicitor to oversee a document, blah, blah, blah. And then this bunch of strangers sits around, pores over all these personal documents from your life and decides, yes, this person is trans enough. It does just feel weird, but I'm glad that there's at least a positive shift in the right direction. Yay. A real, and that's the pride flag for gay men, never speaks ill of trans people. Trans men are welcome in my space. I find transphobic LGBT plus people who are not trans, just like cis people who aren't straight, really bizarre. I find anybody who's transphobic really bizarre, but I especially find transphobia from within the community really, really strange because we're not recognizing that transphobia is just recycled homophobia. Like you are inflicting the same discrimination upon somebody from within the same group as yourself that the group you're in experienced 20 years ago. And it's also why any kind of discrimination from a marginalized community is bizarre, because discrimination is all just recycled from something else, and homophobia is recycled racism. So why there would be racist people who are LGBT plus, I don't know. Why are we bashing on other marginalized communities? It makes zero sense to me. Right-wing LGBT plus people, what are you doing? Talking of transphobic LGBT plus people or transphobic people in general, they really give me the ick. And I personally think they are a walking red flag. But there's a lot of people who aren't transphobic who are also walking red flags. That's why I wanted to take a minute to introduce you to my brand new, not at all made up, very real new business venture and invention, the Ick Detector 3000. Are you tired of ignoring red flags because you just thought they were festive bunting? Same. With the Ick Detector 3000, you'll never miss a warning sign again. It doesn't just see red, it sees scarlet, it sees crimson, and it also sees, why did I ignore that, maroon. Just scan any potential date with this very discreet device and it will instantly detect all their red flags. Still in love with their ex? The alarm will sound. Or maybe they never take accountability. Don't worry, this device actually does. And my red flag detection dream could only come true with the help of Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform where your ideas can go from dream to real business. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace's extraordinary cutting-edge design tools won't leave you stranded waving a white flag. Anyone can build a unique website that matches your brand, business, or chaotic invention idea. You can use Squarespace's Blueprint AI, the AI-enhanced website builder, to create a fully customized website quickly and easily. And what does every groundbreaking invention need? A shop to sell it. Because how else would the Ick Detector 3000 get into the hands of the people who need it? Squarespace makes creating a professional shop super simple. You can sell physical products, digital products, services, whatever you're launching. You'll have a smooth setup, clean design. Honestly, no red flags detected here. Not only does Squarespace make it super easy to create a wonderful shop, they also make it easy to get paid with flexible payment options. Checkout is seamless. Customers can pay using credit cards, PayPal, or even Apple Pay. No need to ghost at checkout. Shopify's actual Squarespace website was super easy and fun to make. We had full creative freedom to link our socials, show off our podcast 1-800-DRAMA, and make everything feel very on brand. No identity crisis detected. We can even use Squarespace's analytics tools to track visitors and see top geographical locations. To get started yourself, go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Jammidodger to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The link's in the description, so go on, check it out. Now that we've scanned that sponsorship and detected zero icks, let's get back to the trans memes. Thanks for listening. Giving out HRT for all the kiddos this Halloween. I have a good mix of testosterone and estrogen. More estrogen than testosterone because feminization is more important. Do you know, I find this hilarious, but there's absolutely going to be a bunch of people who see this and are like,
See, Janet, I told you it's true. They're giving out hormones to the children.
just completely not getting that it's a joke. Taking the piss at them. Oh, I think this is meant to be a transphobic meme of like trans women thinking that when they look in the mirror, they're like this beautiful feminine woman, but really they're not. Yeah, that doesn't work on me. I know fine well I look decent. I think it speaks a lot more about the transphobic viewpoint and the transphobic view on trans women in particular, where it goes back to the whole thing of we can always tell, because they always think that a trans woman is going to have a specific look and look a specific way. You see it in the cartoon cartoons they draw trying to be offensive towards trans women. And it's like, and on one hand, it's like, so what if anybody looks like that? But also it just shows that transphobes always expect trans people to be like beacons of identification. Like,
I know instantly if you're a trans person because I've built this image in my head of exactly what you look like. And if you don't match that, then ooh,
you get away with it. But they don't think that people do. They honestly just think that every trans person is identifiable. It's really bizarre. And identifiable based on an imaginary image that they've built in their head of a trans person. And then it comes out in their memes. Branded TERFs and shunned by peers, 3 university students are refusing to back down in their defense of single-sex rights. You know how we were talking about how transphobia is recycled homophobia, which is recycled racism, and it's all just this big recycling plant of bigotry? I feel like this phrasing really drives that home. Branded racists and shunned by peers, these university students are refusing to back down in their defense of single race spaces. It's the, like, use the wording, and then if you look back at like newspaper articles from the 90s and from the 80s and from before, you can see the language used when describing gay people. And it is the same. If you just swap gay for trans, you have the same language that is being used today to be transphobic. And if you go back further and you swap gay for black, you have the same discrimination, the same language that was being used to be racist. And it still is now. There's still a lot of racism, there's still a lot of homophobia. It's just this kind of publicly acceptable where, like, you know, the Telegraph seems to be defending these people, or at least sitting on the fence being like branded TERFs, not just calling them what they are, and which is TERFs, which is bigots, transphobes. Whereas you wouldn't see an article today that was sitting on the fence. But there is still just a lot of bigotry generally, which we have seen a rise of recently, and on some more official platforms as well. But I think trans people and immigrants are the easiest target at the minute, and this is a larger portion of hate we're seeing towards marginalized groups at the minute. But it doesn't stop there. It's going to trickle all the way down, and if you are not a white, straight, middle class or above, cisgender man, you are going to be caught up in that net if it trickles down far enough. Give a name to this color. I mean, that's not one color. Usually, Kai, oh, do we remember the days where there were like trans mask names? I don't know if there are any like trans femme coded names back in the day, or even still now. I'm out of the loop, so I don't know if there's any new ones that are trendy at the minute. But when I first started transitioning, every other trans guy was Sky, Kai, or Caden. So there's a lot of like late 20s to mid 30-year-old trans men now who are called Kai, Sky, and Caden. Nothing wrong with that. It was just a trend. It's like baby names are a trend. It's fine. I'm not judging. But this is just unlocked a core memory from like 15 years ago. The question was how to get kicked out of Hogwarts. Be trans. Well, if J.K. Rowling has anything to do with it, that would do it. That would. I believe we've had this before on the channel, but there is no harm bringing back a good meme that has some truth behind it, a lot of truth behind it. Jesus struggling to remember when exactly he told followers to bully trans kids. Where in the Bible, where in anything to do with any religion does it say be absolutely horrific to marginalized communities? Isn't religion all about love and acceptance and being a good person? Wasn't the concept of Jesus all about helping others and just being kind? I really don't think Jesus would be against immigration either. Just saying. I find it really weird when people who are uber religious try to use their religion as a reason to be bigoted, because to me that just feels like it goes against a fundamental core principle of having faith, of being a good person. Because you're not being a good person if you're being bigoted towards marginalized communities, if you're being an arsehole towards people just because they're different. I'm not religious myself though. Mamdani, whether you're an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mum still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down, or anyone else with their back against the wall, your struggle is, oh, and then I can't see anymore. That's annoying. But I do know that Mamdani is very, very liberal and accepting and just seems like a nice person who doesn't want to see marginalized people get shat on. And someone's replied going, a good man did not sell out the trans community or refuse to comment, and he won in a landslide. My heart is full tonight. I think this was such a morale boosting moment and a really important moment for like the landscape of American politics right now, which does also have an impact on a lot of the world. And I think it really shows that you do not have to sell out marginalized communities in order to win politics at the minute. I don't know what the hell is going on with politicians thinking that being openly transphobic is going to win them more votes, because a majority of general society is either accepting or neutral. It's somebody being transphobic is more likely to sway a vote against that person than for them based on statistics. It just seems like there's a lot of transphobic people out there because of bots on social media Australia, billionaires speaking very loudly and being very loudly transphobic, and generally the minority of people who are that transphobic being really, really loud and hateful about it. But like, you try and put together a turf meetup and you get like 10 people outside of a Primark. You put together a trans pride and you get 100,000 people. Hearing the mayor-elect of New York City thank trans people by name after a whole year of tirades about gender mutilation monsters, Jesus, and Tisla from people in government genuinely touched my heart. You wake up tomorrow in the year is 2005. What do? Get on HRT, nothing else matters. Oh God. The thought that going back 2 decades would make it easier for trans people to medically transition. I feel like there was still a lot of stigma, and I don't know what the access was like in the mid-noughties, but certainly if you go back like 15 years, it was easier to medically transition. And then representation started to increase and we hit this sweet spot where like healthcare access was there, representation was building, positivity was building, prides were building, all of this stuff for trans people. And then suddenly assholes got scared and they're like, we don't understand this, so let's stop it from happening. And now we're here. Oh, and we have the same so a real lesbian never speaks ill of trans people. Same vibe, same thing that I said before. We can't let trans women compete on girls' teams because they have distinct biological advantages. Meanwhile, cis people, are we seeing the very large height difference here? I find it so bizarre. And there's also been multiple studies that have shown that trans women on HRT for a certain amount of time do not seem to have biological advantages over cis women when it comes to sports. And the thing is, this all started as a conversation about elite sports, but has now trickled down into just casual sports, like casual football on Sundays, kids running hurdles. I don't know, but like so many trans kids have been excluded, like trans girls have been excluded from their sports teams and clubs where it wasn't even competitive necessarily, but just because they're trans, they're not allowed to compete anymore. And this is kids who haven't even reached the age of puberty. It's so bizarre. This isn't anything about fairness or safety. This is just about excluding trans people. And then when we go to the elite levels of sport as well, not only does every athlete have to pass certain tests in order to be able to compete, but also the reason why they're at that stage is obviously they've put in a shit ton of hard work, but also they've had the privilege of accessing the facilities to train in their sport that much. But there are distinct advantages in those who are at the top elite level and winning all the medals. Look at Michael Phelps. Here is their new one joke. I look like this, and it's their caricature, I guess, what they would call like an ugly trans woman or like a non-passing trans woman, holding up an image of a woman who does not look like them, being like, I look like this, trying to call trans people deluded. In reality, this fixed version of the comic is what's happening. I love billionaires, MAGA, you look like this. Clearly, Dave, that looks like you. Is there projecting going on? So someone's unwell with a big medical bill but supporting MAGA, and Trump is not helping. Oh, I love the orange of his face. Trump is not helping and is instead giving money to billionaires. Don't worry, little buddy, we can still hate trans people together. At least we still have our hatred. That will obviously cure you. Yeah, you're gonna get all better. Trans women in reality, how transphobes depict them. Very true. Trans men in reality, oh my God, why is that so accurate? How transphobes depict them. We don't exist. Oh my God, just fading, gone. Most of the time, yes, yeah. Like trans men are entirely forgotten and left out of the conversation. But if they ever do acknowledge our existence, and some TERFs do, however, the problem is the arguments that transphobes use against trans women, if you try to use them against trans men, they come undone. I mean, they come undone anyway, but they really come undone when flipped the other way. But some TERFs do talk about trans men, and their depiction is like lost lesbians who were manipulated by promises of like male privilege. That's the vibe of like trans men, we are just lesbians who wanted male privilege. But the problem with that is that if all trans men were just lost lesbians, right, then a vast majority, if not the entire community of trans men, would be straight men, right? But actually a majority are not. It's actually kind of hard to find a straight trans man. Girl Guides Australia reaffirms that all girls, cisgender and transgender, are welcome amid UK ban. Well, at least one country's doing something right. Can you imagine, like, trans girls being banned from Girl Guides? It's ridiculous. And this is where, like, trans men disappear, because I actually don't know about, like, Boy Scouts, if trans boys are allowed in Boy Scouts or not. The Conservatives can't stop obsessing over trans people. Don't you mean the mentally ill? Right, sorry. The mentally ill can't stop obsessing over trans people. And this is not to take the piss out of mental health issues, but the level of obsession and some of the things that some transphobes say really border into that line of, this isn't what's happening. This isn't reality. Like, what's happened? Are you okay? Because it does not seem like you are. There's almost like, if they weren't so hateful and causing so much harm, there's pity underneath my anger, because I'm like, how horrible must it be to be that consumed by hatred that you make it your entire life? It's so easy to not get shot by ICE. Riley Gaines. I'm embarrassed that my surname rhymes with hers. Statistically, you are more likely to be shot by ICE than you are to compete against a trans woman. There it is. She's so loud about, like,
Get trans women out of my sport and sport generally.
isn't she the one that came like 5th and was like,
I would have done better if there hadn't been a trans woman.
yeah, here. Riley Gaines finished 5th, and she was the one that competed against Leah Thomas and has just seemingly made an entire career out of that, rather than just focusing on the sport that she loves so much. I don't know. But yeah, how interesting. And also fascinating that the views of transphobia and not being anti-ICE go together. Bigoted in one way, probably bigoted in many others. Miley Cyrus talks about Grammy loser and MAGA rapper Nicki Minaj supporting Donald Trump for Variety. Back in 2019, I was called Purdue Chicken by someone who thought misogyny was cute. Now it's 2026 and I'm here with 3 Grammys, my integrity intact, standing with the LGBTQ plus community instead of using them for clout or cozying up to politicians who harm them. Growth is real, hypocrisy is loud. Thinking about 9 months on T, Justin Bieber again. Oh, there has been an ongoing thing about Justin Bieber. When he was really young, there was like lesbians who looked like Justin Bieber, and then there's like how Justin Bieber is trans mask coded in his appearance and everything. I don't know what it is about him. This one in particular though is the little half up vest and the whole glasses hair, no beard situation. He does look quite trans mask coded. Dear liberals, I've turned more kids transgender than any book. Kids Learn Transgender exists from my shitty clickbait videos. Sincerely, conservatives. Ben Shapiro. I saw he was doing a talk somewhere and somebody asked him a question, and then he said something like, where did you learn that trans existed or something? Or maybe they just said it, but they told him like, you're the reason that I know trans people exist. Because yes, coming across like a negative bigoted depiction of a marginalized community as your first introduction can make people be bigoted and share that opinion, but it's also going to make a bunch of people go, oh, this is a thing that exists, this person's being really mean about it, let me go read about it somewhere else. And then they're either going to become a really good ally because they're like, wow, that person was a dick, or it's made them realize that that is the correct language for them. So he's not turned kids transgender, but Ben Shapiro, among other transphobes, have most certainly helped trans people discover their identities in a really, really weird way. So thanks. Ah yes, the 4 genders: blue hair, fat man, long hair, woman. Are these knockoff Inside Out 2 things? I don't remember this one. This one is embarrassment, anxiety, and then ennui. Oh no, they're still in the cave. Gender norms, cis people, society. Mega trans group. That's what they're scared of. All the trans people that are so mega. There's so many of us. Yeah, we're gonna take over the world. Woo. Are you a boy or a girl? I am the god of destruction. Yes, the phobes would believe it. And that's it for today's installment of Trans Memes. I hope you enjoyed them. Don't forget to go check out Squarespace if you want to. As always, thank you so much for watching. Think about giving the video a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. There's also some lovely names on the screen right here of my wonderful Patreons. Thank you so much for supporting me over on Patreon. And a big shout out to my top tier Patreons: Kiatasha, Elias the Main Man, Night Soul, Sugar Joe, Alden K, Nesta the Third Hat Man, Max Makes Mods, Della Nervin, River Shampoo, Chloe, Iana Balash, TNS Mum, Sally Drew, Randy, Alba, Marv Milo, Rachel Raptor, Jesse Imbecile, Gosco, Sienna Lamb, Slayer, Sarah Hobbs, The Paisley Prince, Riley Ray, Build At The Show, AAA_Mars, Claire Henley, and Marion. Thank you so much for all your support. I really appreciate it, and thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you next time. Much love. Bye.